Hey guys, hope you're well. And in this video, I'm going to share a beautiful success story with you. This is a success story of one of my one-on-one clients who not only manifested a proposal from her specific person, but she also worked on third-party issues, self-concept issues, resentment issues, and a lot of more things. If you are manifesting love or a specific person at all, then this success story will teach you a lot. You will learn a lot of things. You will absolutely be able to use these tips to apply them in your life, and you will be able to get a success story like her. For the sake of this video, I'm going to call her Tina. This is not her real name, but I find that if I use this name and if I talk instead of saying client, I tell the name, it actually creates a better story, and you guys will also be able to gather that level of interest that I have into this. So let's start talking about Tina. So Tina is one of my clients who came to me and she wanted to work on manifesting a specific person in her life. So let me give you a little bit of background on her. Tina is a divorcee. She was married when she was young. She was around 21, 22 when she got married. And this marriage actually didn't go as she planned at all. She didn't have a great relationship with her in-laws. She didn't have a great relationship with her husband. And the relationship eventually ended after a few years. Now, this marriage had already ended a while back, but because she wanted to carry it on, because she didn't want to break the marriage, she kept on going on, kept on going on, kept on settling, kept on accepting unhealthy behavior from her husband. And because of which, when she came to me, she had already developed a lot of negative perceptions of men. She had already developed a lot of negative perceptions of how relationships are supposed to be, and her bar was set so low that any person who comes and offers her a little bit better was someone that she pedestalized. So she came to me, and by this time, she had already gotten divorced. But her divorce actually was supposed to happen a while back. It kept on getting delayed because maybe her parents were trying to convince her husband, or her husband was trying to convince her, and it was a long situation. But she came to me, and by this time, the divorce had happened. She told me later that she had actually planned to get away from this situation a while back because she had gotten to know a few things about her marriage that she didn't want me to share here in the video. So this is where she came to me. So after she came to me, what she had been focused on, like what her situation truly was she met a guy in her office. Now this is where she met this person, and this person at the start, he started flirting with her. And as he started flirting with her, she got interested because she was getting this attention. She was loving it. This guy was, talking to her nicely, treating her right. And because her perception of men was very, very flawed, it was not coming from a positive place at all, she was actually pedestalizing this person from a very starting point. So, when you are coming from a past relationship which didn't work out at all, your perceptions of men will be derived from there. Her perceptions of men was derived from there. Now, because her perception of men was very, very low, anything above that is worth pedestalizing, at least in her mind. So, think about it. Let's say my normal is -5. So even if a guy comes and offers me 0, which is the bare minimum, I will think of it as +5 and I will start to pedestalize it because my mind feels that this is +5 and something that is very rare and someone won't be able to give it to me. Now, when this guy came to her, from a very starting point, he was clear about the fact that he is right now not looking for something serious. He's not looking for a relationship. And he was also talking to other women. Now, here, he was not cheating on her. This is very important to understand. This guy was actually clear that he's not able to offer her the full relationship. But in her mind, she thought two things, and this is something we often feel ourselves. This is a common story that I hear from a lot of clients. She thought that if I stick around long enough, maybe I will change him. So maybe I will, if I show him that I love him, if I do all these things, maybe I will change him. She was actually not comfortable with being in a relationship or being in this situationship with this guy when he was not giving her the full commitment. But because in her mind, she thought that this is a too good to be true offer. This kind of behavior from a guy will rarely be given to me. I won't get something like this in my life again. So might as well keep on sticking to it. That was one reason. The second reason why she was constantly applying herself into this was because unconsciously her mind was very afraid of getting into a commitment at all. Because the last commitment, which is even bigger than a relationship, a full marriage that she got involved in, didn't work out for her. It ended up with her feeling a lot of pain and hurt. And because it ended up with her feeling a lot of pain and hurt, her mind was unconsciously trying to protect her by picking people around her who were not offering a full relationship to begin with. because as soon as it became serious, as soon as it became a relationship, her fears will have to act up again. Her mind will try to protect her again. So, this is a subtle thing that our mind does unconsciously, where we, without even knowing, pick people who are not fully available, because a part of my mind is not actually feeling safe with the idea of a full relationship to begin with. So, this situation with her kept on going for a while. This situation with her kept on going for a while. And at this time, two things are happening. So, even though she told him that I'm okay with you dating other people, she wasn't. And because of which, she was constantly developing resentment against this person. She was constantly in her mind thinking that, you know what, he's this, he's that, he's treating me negatively, he's treating me bad. When in truth, he wasn't treating her negatively at all. He was just treating her based on the dynamic that he had agreed upon. He was treating her based on what he had promised her. He was clear that at this moment I can only offer you a situationship. I cannot give you a full commitment. And she agreed to it because of her boundary issues, right? But because she had agreed to it, in her mind she thought that he should give her more. And you see, this is what a lack of boundaries does. This creates unhealthy, unrealistic resentment against the other person. Because here she was constantly thinking, oh, he's so bad, he's so negative, he's treating me this way, he's not giving me what I want, and things like that. Another thing that was happening is she was slightly passive aggressive with how she was projecting her needs towards this person. So, after every few days, she used to text this person that, oh, you know, you don't give me attention at all. And she used to, without even knowing, throw a tantrum in front of him. And these are her words, not mine. Why she used to do that, why Tina used to do that, is because in her mind, she thought that if I do this, he will maybe pay me more attention. Maybe he will show me more attention, more love, and maybe he will give me some of this time that I'm really wanting from him. And all she wanted was time from this person. So after every few days, she would ghost him, she would project her insecurities onto him, she would throw a tantrum, and Tina kept on doing that. And in her mind, she was doing everything right because she saw this throughout her marriage. Every time her husband wanted attention, this is what he used to do. Every time she wanted attention, she would just stop talking to him. So he would come back, maybe he would convince her and everything. And these things used to be a back and forth with her. The thing is, these were not real boundaries. What she was doing was not coming from a place of confidence and love. This was coming from a place of manipulation and insecurity. So all she was getting more of is the same thing. Now, after a while, this guy also started being pushed away. So even the attention that he was giving to her, he started taking it away because he started to realize that Tina is playing these games without even knowing. And that was very unattractive. You will often find this, that when you will find someone playing these power struggle relationship games, you will often find it very unattractive. You yourself, if you see someone else doing it with you will not like it yourself too, because you will realize that, you know what, this kind of behavior is not really mature, it's not really coming out of confidence, and not really something you want as a part of your relationship. Now, this is where we started working together properly. This is the full situation that she came to me with. The first thing that we did, the absolute first thing, is we created a boundary with this person. The reason it was so important is because Tina's nervous system was totally fried. She didn't actually want to be in this situationship. She would wake up every day with severe anxiety because she would see this person talking to other women, which he was clear about from the very starting point, and she would feel very hurt. She would feel very reactive. She would go and stalk their profiles and do all these things. So, the first thing that we did is we created a boundary with this person. Now, these were the exact words that we used. So, because a lot of people ask me, when you say create a boundary, how do I exactly do that? We verbalized the boundary to this guy. She said to him, hey, and his name, at this current moment, I am really happy with all you are offering to me. I am really happy with the dynamic that we have. But I have started to realize that I am right now looking for a full committed relationship. It's okay if you cannot offer it to me. But at this moment, I would want to pull myself away if you aren't, because I really want to stabilize and focus on myself, because what you are right now bringing to the table is not really in alignment to what I want. Now, these were not the exact words, but it was along these lines. So this is how she created a boundary. This person told her that, you know what, I wish things were different and everything, but I at this moment cannot offer you a relationship. And this is where she pulled away and she started working on herself. So what are the things that we worked on? The first thing that we worked on is resentment. She had unreasonable amount of resentment against this person. Now, some of her resentment was coming from an understandable place where she was resentful because of some things that he was doing, but most of her resentment was coming because of her lack of boundaries. This is where we needed to have a few tough conversations. And I totally understand that, at this moment, anyone would get defensive. She wasn't. I remember in one of our calls, Tina cried, but she told me that I'm crying because I'm realizing that I was the one sabotaging my whole life. I was the one doing this to myself, and I was constantly blaming him for this. So she accepted that, what, I have had a full role to play in it. This person was not treating me wrong. I was constantly accepting this behavior. And this is where we first started taking responsibility. Now, whenever we take responsibility in these situations, it is not to blame yourself, but it is to understand that we have certain things that we can do to change our life, right? And unless we first take responsibility of the bad part, we cannot take responsibility of the good part. Think about it. If I'm saying that everything is just happening to me, then why change yourself? Why work on yourself? If you are saying my actions have no impact in the first place, then why work on yourself and change yourself? Right? Only if you're able to have a responsibility that, what, my negative actions did this for me. Only then I can say, right, that my positive actions will change this and do this for me. So this is what she did. She started taking responsibility. Then we started working a lot on forgiveness. So I gave her one of my forgiveness meditations. She was constantly doing that. It was a meditation that she did for herself. I just told her how to, and we were very regular with this. Another important aspect of forgiveness is to make sure that you're not repeating these same things again. So this is where she became conscious of all boundaries that she needed to put in all her relationships. In her mind, the reason that she was not putting up boundaries was because she thought that I'm being kind, when in truth, she was actually being very, very unkind, because her not putting up these boundaries was actually ruining her relationships. If she would have said no from the starting point, things wouldn't have turned to here till now in the first place. So this is what we worked on. Again, I would just like to say that I'm really, really proud and happy to work with her, because Tina was very open to advice. She never got defensive. She said that, what, you're right, I'm doing this. And she didn't try to prove me that no, he was doing this, he was doing that. She realized that, if I have to change my life, I need to accept what are the things that have got me to here in the first place. And that is what she was continuously working on, right? So this is the first thing that she worked on. The second thing that she worked on is we started doing some affirmations to better her perspective of men. And this is where we worked a lot on how are men supposed to treat her. And these were just normal conversations that we had. So she was a long term client. We have been like, we still are working together, but we actually started working together in a longer coaching format. So she used to constantly ask me that, is this the correct perception of men? Is this the correct perception of men? And every time we used to find new ones, we just used to create different affirmations for it. Now, a general few affirmations also really work well, but in her situation, she preferred some specificity. So that's all. If you are doing general affirmations towards that cover the whole bunch, just like men are always loyal, things like that, that still works. This is the second thing that she worked on. The last thing that we worked on, which was the major thing. So of course we worked on self concept, we worked on her self love, things like that, activities, creating a life outside of the manifestation. These were the things that were there to begin with. Like, we started working on them anyhow. But another very important thing that we worked on is we worked on her definitions of what a relationship is. So I have this healthy relationship activity which I gave to her, and she started working on it for herself. Then we did an activity on what her perception of men in terms of relationships is, right? And these were the things that we started working on. Now, as we worked on that, I also gave her an activity where I told her to start including the new definitions of healthy relationships that she has in her daily life with all situations. Why is this crucial? Because we as humans are creatures of habit. The way that we do one thing is the way that we do all things, right? So once she started creating these boundaries in other relationships, and she started integrating these new healthy habits in other relationships, this also started translating in her romantic mindset. Now, one thing I was clear with very, very clear with Tina was that once you start working on yourself, there is a huge chance that you might not want this person to begin with. Because a big reason why this attraction and this attachment started was because of your not feeling safe in relationships, and was because of you pedestalizing some basic behavior. right? This is a very common thing that happens, and it happens with a lot of people, where once they start working on themselves, they will surpass the desire that they had in the first place, because that desire originated from some conditions that they had given themselves, from some limiting beliefs. And this is where a lot of people get stuck, which I totally get. See, if you have invested so much time, if you have invested so much effort, or if you have felt so much pain, felt so many feelings, felt so much obsession, or tried to get someone in your life to this capacity for such a long time, just being open about the fact that, me working on myself means that I might let go of this is actually very difficult. And this doesn't mean that this happens instantly, that there is one day that you wake up and you don't think about this person. But having an open mindset is for my own good, right? No coach, not me, not any other coach, gets a benefit of telling you that, move on from this person or go in this direction. We have no personal interest into this. The only interest that we have as a coach is to give you the best advice, and even if that advice is not really something that you instantly want to hear, right? So I told her that this might happen, and she was very open about it. I didn't tell her that you will do it or you won't do it, right? I told her that this might happen. At least be open about it. Eventually, in the end, no other person can take a decision for you. That decision is completely yours. That decision is completely something that you will have to deal with. But if we have that open mindset, what happens is we do the self-concept work for the correct reasons. And whenever we do the work for the correct reasons, it starts to give us good effects. Now, she kept working on these things till one day this person, and she used to see this person around the office. They had an okayish situation. They were, platonically okay. They were not fighting. Nothing like that was happening. But she was not now worried about the third parties that were there. She was not now worried about all the other things. And lo and behold, this guy came to her a few weeks back and told her that, you know what, I am sorry that earlier I couldn't offer you the commitment. I'm here. I have stopped talking to all the other women. Whether you give me the commitment or not, I'm not going to get involved with these women again, because I don't want to be in a situation where these past things are going to be reminded to me. I really would love to be with you. This happened out of the blue. They were not talking at all. This guy just suddenly came and he confessed his feelings. He said, since the day that you have put up a boundary, I have been thinking about this. And I was still dating these other people, but I could just sense that there is some change, and I just couldn't stop thinking about you. And now I'm here. I would really love to have a relationship with you and things like that. Now, the catch is, Tina is not sure if she wants to be with this person, because once she started working on herself, she realized that she might not want this person for the correct reasons. Does this mean all her feelings are gone? No. Does this mean she won't go with this person? I don't know. It's completely her choice. But at least it's a choice. At least whatever she decides will come out of her choice. At least it wouldn't be something that would be imposed onto her because of her issues and her conditioning. Now, if she chooses to go after this person, that's completely on her. If she chooses to manifest someone better that she thinks is going to be a better fit for her, that's completely on her. But all of this is done because she worked on herself. She took responsibility. She created boundaries and she stuck to it. Did she not waver in the middle? She absolutely wavered. Did she not have bad days? She absolutely did. Because you are supposed to have bad feelings. Sometimes you are a human being. Was this a one-side process? No, this wasn't a linear journey. This was something that required a lot of time and effort. But it was effort well spent. It was an investment that she made into me and herself that was well spent, which is what is required of you. So if you are someone who's in a similar situation, I hope that you learn something from this video, and I hope that you apply it in your life, because I'm absolutely sure, just like Tina, you deserve full love too. So I will see you guys in the next video and hope you have a great day ahead.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and share if you like the video. The link for my one-on-one coaching, my self-help courses, and my free newsletter are in the description box below.